Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
All right, my sisters, so let's talk about how to make 2017 your bitch. Now, I'm recording this on January the 2nd. You may be listening to this months later, but could still be relevant going into 2018. Or if you're simply like, I'm ready to start taking charge of my life and create some really solid outcomes for what I want. Now, this is very different from resolutions. Okay, New Year's resolutions, I'm going to say it once and then that's it. I think it's quite a common thing of like, they don't work. Okay, but let's just talk just for a moment about why don't they work? Well, I think one of the reasons why is people aren't clear on what they want. They don't know what it is. They are saying rhetoric of what they think it is, which is, to the top two or lose weight and stop smoking. They're the things that they think that they should do, but they don't clearly define what that means. How much weight is that? Where people say, well, I want to get healthy. I want to eat better or eat healthy or eat more nutritious. Like, what exactly does that mean? There's no clear definition of what that is that person wants to have as in this case, I'll say goal. From here on in, we're going to use the word outcome or result. But they don't clearly know what it is. Like, what does it mean to be healthy? How do you know when you actually get there? See, if you don't clearly know what you want from the beginning, then you're already done. You're done in the water, man. There is no going forward and there is no, conquering that New Year's resolution because you haven't clearly defined what it is that you want, number one. Number two, you haven't clearly defined why it is that you want this to happen, like the burning why. Why it absolutely is a must for you to reach this particular outcome or result. And then the third part of this is you haven't actually committed. Why is it that gyms are so busy beginning of January, end of January, they're like, nobody's there now, right? Those that have not made the commitment, they don't know what they want and why they want it, which you have to start with those two first. And then it's simply making a commitment. And if you haven't committed to doing whatever it takes to reach that outcome or that result, again, it's not going to happen, sister. So here's the difference. We're going to get really tactical on this episode today, which is not something that I often do, but I feel it's really important to give you some of the tools that I give my clients for you to really have an understanding of how this works. Now, usually, and this is all, by the way, as you know, this podcast was inspired by Garrett J. White, his work with Warrior. My husband that had him on his podcast, it's almost 2 years ago now. And then Ed went to Warrior. We followed Garrett's message. I started coaching with Satema, who created something called Shieldbane. Satema Gali used to actually be one of the coaches for Warrior. Took a lot of what he learned there and kind of put it towards women. And even before that, this is what inspired this podcast. My husband had coming back from Warrior and just being like, wow, I really want to bring this message to women. And I think I have a different way to really to come across with this, to really explain this and to teach this and to live it from a female perspective and really share this with the podcast, hence this podcast, Women Wanting More. But so I'm going to share with you what I've been doing in 90-day runs, and what's newer for me is really taking a look at a bigger time period. The reason Garrett, and many others, by the way, talk about just taking a look at 90 days at a time is if you do the thing of like, well, what do I want to be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? It's like, it doesn't work, right? Your brain goes, that's way far in advance. We won't do anything right now. And you just drop it. Like, you'll never do anything because it's too far in advance. If you set a tighter deadline, a tighter timeline of 90 days, and you get really clear on the areas of your life that you want to achieve and that those outcomes are realistic, they're clearly defined, they have a timeline, and you know exactly why you want it, and you've planned out how to do the work, like, unless you're just not doing the work, like, it'll happen. This is not a woo-woo vision board kind of shit thing. Like, this is shit will go down. You will get stuff done. But 90 days is normally how it's run. What I'm actually doing, which is really different for this year, because I trained myself so much to think in 90 days, that for me to go beyond that was like, oh, I can't see past 9 days, it's too far ahead. But now I'm just opening up a different possibility of like, well, what do I really want for the year? And then breaking it down to 4 quarters or 4 90-day chunks. So let's see how this looks. So over the next year, and you're going to take a look at the 4 areas of your life that are most significant. And those are your health, your business or work, your relationship, which is marriage and kids, and purpose. Now, you can sub in purpose for spirituality if you want. Spirituality is something that's part of my life, so to me, purpose works. So purpose, business/work, relationships, that's marriage and kids, and health. What do you want to see happen this year? So by December 31st, 2017, where exactly will you be in those areas? And so here's the thing. They have to be clearly defined. Like, what is it exactly that you want? There has to be realistic. There has to be a timeline to that as well, too. So how would this exactly work? Well, let's say if we take a look at something like health. For a lot of you, weight loss is a goal, right? That's an easy thing to quantify, to measure, right? Because realistic, and you have to be able to measure that thing as well, too. You could say, I want to lose X number of pounds. So you need to clearly know what it is that you want, sister. So it literally can be like checking a box that says either, yes, you check the box that I achieved this outcome or this result, or no, I didn't achieve it. Like it's black or white. And so with something like weight loss, it's easy, right? It's a number. Something like business, maybe you've got an outcome to achieve a certain amount of revenue. So many dollars, so many clients. Easy, right? Or let's say, I know I've got some people that I know they're network marketing, a certain rank that they want to achieve. Like those are easy things to measure. Did I hit that? Yes or no? But what if it's not, right? What if it's something like marriage, which I'll give you an example of marriage, which a lot of my clients have this similar outcome, which is this. I want to feel more connection with my husband. I want to feel more passion. I want to feel more love. Like, how do you measure that, right? And to simply say, well, I'll know what it is when I get there is ridiculous. I've often given this example. Imagine if you were driving in your car, you're on a road trip with your family, and you have no idea where you're going. And your husband says to you, honey, where are we going? You go, I don't know, but like, I'll know when we get there. I'll know when we arrive. It's ridiculous, right? You'd be like, wait a second, where the fuck are we going? What's the city? What's the hotel? Are we flying? Are we driving? Like what, where is it that we're arriving at? So we know when we've gotten there, we've landed at our vacation destination. We are now officially on our holidays because we are there. We have arrived. So when you take a look at your outcomes and results, sister, they have to be that clearly defined. So how would it look like and say something like, I want more connection with my husband? Well, you can take a look at, well, what would it mean to be more connected? What are the things that you would have to do to create more connection in your life? And there are 2 simple things that I teach my clients. I teach on webinars as well, too, that are things that I've learned from my great coaches and mentors that have made a significant difference in my marriage. And you may hear these for the first time or for the 20th time and think, these are dumb, it's no big deal. It matters, sister. And you don't have to believe anything of what I'm saying. Test it for yourself. And if you have a better way to do things, awesome. But this is what I found has worked for me and has worked for my clients incredibly well over the last year. So let's come back to connection. So what would you have to do? Well, 2 things that I do and I teach my clients are this. One is weekly date nights. They're non-negotiable. They're without children. You leave the house. You give a shit. You set up plans. You go out and you spend time together and you connect, right? If you want more connection in any relationship, would you not agree? You need to spend more time with that person. And it's quality time. It's just not like well, we have our business together. We have the kids together. We're always together. No. Like time where it's just you and him. Right? Like really investing that time together. So weekly day nights. When my husband and I first started this, about a year and a half ago and a little bit more, maybe a year and 3/4, it was really awkward at first because we hadn't done that consistently for a long, long time. Talked about the kids, talked about business only. It took a while. But now it is a pillar in our marriage to have that time, that 4 or 5 hours every single week to connect, to leave the house. It can be however you want it to look. We love dinner, so we often will do that. It could be the movies. It could be you go for a walk. It could be that you go to Starbucks, which I'm waiting outside here now to go and do a little bit of work here today. It could be that you go to a concert, a stand-up comedy, like whatever it is that you really want to do, but you spend that time to connect every single week. Okay, that's number one. The second thing that you could do to really create that connection is to let your husband know daily what you love, appreciate, or honor about him in a simple text message. It really doesn't get any easier than that, sister. We're talking about 30 to 60 seconds of your time to really start to create that connection. So imagine if you're on the other end of that and you're now receiving every single day, let's just even just say for a week or 2 weeks or 30 days of a text message that says, honey, here's what I really love about you. Here's what I really honor about you. I really appreciate how much of an amazing mother that you are. I really appreciate when you are doing the things that you need to do for you to take care of your needs. Like whatever it is that it might be, but imagine if you were on that other end. So every single day you're going to send that text saying what you love, honor, appreciate about your husband. Those are two things you could quantify and measure to create that connection that you want, right? Let's go even a little bit further. What I've done at times as well then too is for some of my outcomes is, those have just been regular things that I do, but I've said it that one of my outcomes is that my husband and I go away for the weekend in that quarter, or we have an overnight date night, right? It's maybe something else special that we do outside of our regular date nights, something that would add to that connection. And now that's something that I can measure. Did we have that weekend away, that overnight date night? Yes or no, right? Really easy. For you, it could just be, I'm sending daily text messages for the next 90 days. Without fail. Did I send 90 text messages? Yes or no? It's measurable, right? So you're going to figure out first in 2017, what is it that I want to have that is realistic outcome, it's measurable, it's specific with a timeline. I know exactly what that is. It's a yes or it's a no. Did I get that done? Okay, now you're going to take a look over the next 90 days. What needs to happen over 90 days for me to move closer to that outcome? So for something like the example of Back to Marriage, it could just be that you just have those date nights. I'm going to schedule 12 date nights. I'm going to set up the center. I'm going to figure out what it is that we're doing. And I'll do those plans and we'll have them in place. And we will then go on those dates. Not just schedule them, but we actually will do them, right? We'll go on those dates. And we'll have 12 over the next quarter, over the next 12 weeks, the next 90 days, right? That could be something easy. So here's what you also end up doing with each of those outcomes. And you're going to take a look at it for your body, your health, your business or work, relationships, so it's marriage and kids, and purpose or spirituality, if religion is something that's more a part of your life, then you're going to take a look and say, okay, what needs to happen at 30 days and at 60 days for me to reach that 90-day benchmark? Let's go back to that simplest example of date nights. So that would mean in 30 days, if you were setting up your outcome, sister, over the next 90 days or 12 weeks, so you have 12 weekly dates, that would mean by 30 days you would have 4. That would mean by 60 days you would have 8. Okay, so then that would mean that you're checking along the way. Those are the benchmarks. It's like you're checking in, saying, where am I? Now, what would happen if you say, oh gosh, we reached 30 days and we missed one, right? Someone got sick, or we just said, I don't feel like it, I'm tired, let's just stay home. And you only had 3 of the 4. Okay, so you have decisions to make. You can course correct. So you could do a couple different things. You could say, you know what? One of us got sick, just kind of out of our control. Like, that's okay. We're back on track. We'll make sure we get these next 4 date nights over the next 4 weeks, right? And then the 4 after that to make sure that we hit, we'll be close to that outcome, right? You could catch up a date night. You could say, you know what? It matters to me, so let's do an extra one during the week, and then we'll do a regular one if it was, say, like a Friday or Saturday night. So you could also do it that way. Or option 3, which I would highly not recommend, you beat the shit out of yourself and say, I suck, I failed, I didn't do it. This is how most of you roll right now. And this is how you might roll right now then too, sister. I know, I used to do it too. It didn't serve me. It didn't get me close to what I wanted. You just course correct. Just honestly take a look and go, okay, what did I learn from the situation? We didn't follow through on one of those date nights. And it wasn't because we were sick or one of us was sick. And it wasn't because the sitter canceled. We couldn't find anyone to watch the kids. We just simply said, I don't feel like it, fuck it. That's okay. Learn from that situation and move forward. Beating yourself up will get you nowhere, right? And go back to, why does this matter to me? So if you just kind of bailed on a date night, just like, I don't feel like it, then you got to go back to your why, sister. Like, why does that matter to you? What is the deep why of why you want that outcome? I think I skipped that part. Maybe I did. I can't remember now. But yeah, you need to know exactly what it is that you want and why it matters. And you might have to ask yourself 5 questions, 5 whys. It matters because of this. Great. Why does that matter? Why does that matter? Why does that matter? To really wait until if you keep deeply asking yourself that question, you're going to land on one that suddenly hits and you go, oh, God, it's this. Okay, so that is it, sister. I'm going to put some of this in the show notes, but if not, listen back to this episode a second, third, fourth, fifth time and take some notes. But this is really how you make 2017 your bitch. You strategically figure out, this is what I want these 4 years of my life. This is why it matters, why it has to happen. And I commit to doing the work that's required. And then each Sunday you plan that out, right? When am I doing, let's say if it's other goals you maybe have with health and your body, right? Where are my workouts? When am I doing meal planning? When are those date nights? When am I doing things for my business to hit the goals I want for my business? Like whatever it is, the outcomes you want, break this down, sister. And you can get there. But again, they have to be measurable, realistic, with a timeline. You have to know what you want, why it matters, and be willing to commit and do the work. It is not rocket science, sister, but most people are willing to do the things that many people are not. Just most people they're not willing to do it. They just want to snap their fingers, push a magic button and say, well, this should be easier. Well, you know what? The thing is that most stuff that you do that's work it's fucking work. It's work. Even the date night stuff. There are definitely times when I go, oh my God, I'm tired. I don't feel like going out and date night. And I still have those times. I still wake up in the morning and go, I don't feel like getting up and going to the gym, meeting my trainer today. Like, I don't fucking feel like it. I don't feel like making that great choice when it comes to food, but I know why I want these things. You will come up with against resistance. You will have people that poo-poo you and say like, oh my God, why don't you just eat this fucking donut? And who cares about your marriage? Just come out and have the girls' night with us instead. Yeah, we'll drink wine. If you want the things that most people do not have, you have to be willing to do what most people will not, sister. That's really what it comes down to. And if you want this, you can get it, but you have to be willing to do this work. So listen, you're going to see when you go over to drkarenosborne.com/live event, which I want you to go there right now, drkarenosborne.com/live event. You're going to see what happened in 2.5 days when 6 amazing women really learned this way of living. They learned more of the tools that I teach in depth to my clients of how to make these things happen and got so clear on what they wanted and why. And came to my 2.5 day Women Wanting More live event 2 months ago and got so clear. And then you're going to also be able to watch not just the Women Wanting More live event movie, but 4 to 6 weeks afterwards, interviews with these women to really see, well, what's still been going on over the last 4 to 6 weeks after the event and the results that they're still seeing within their life. So that's over at drkarenosborne.com/live event. And you will have a chance to apply for the next live event. Right now, as I record this, there are currently 3 seats left. It is a very small, intimate event. And I got to tell you, sister, it is a lot of fucking work to put live events together. I don't know if I will be continuing doing these. I love doing them. I see myself still doing them in some way, shape, or form. But if you feel called to this, you need to act on it right away. So there'll be a button that says apply for the next live event. You're going to fill out a form. It's 7 questions. It'll take you all 5 minutes. And then you and I will get on the phone in the next couple of days and have a powerful conversation to really see if you are a fit. So I will talk to the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborne.com/newsletter.